Hey everybody, welcome to Big Boys Toys. I'm James, and today we're going to take the S4 out for a little drive. Let's do this. So we've talked about the S4 several times in the past. It was my first Porsche, after all, and it has 99,000 miles on it. It has been on, Texas World Speedway, Texas Motor Speedway, Motorsport Ranch in Crescent, Cabinus Field, back when we used to run on the Naval Air Station field in Corpus Christi. Actually got third in my class in a time trial out there. It was my first time on that track. It has been a great car, really. It introduced me to the Porsche Club of America family, where I ultimately ended up serving as president of the Hill Country region for a year or so. I was vice president for the region for quite a while, as well as the concourse chairman for the region. It also got me into instructing as well as Porsche Club racing. And I instructed for the Longhorn region, the Lone Star region. I instructed for the Maverick region. I'm not sure I instructed for my own region ever. We didn't start doing track events, I don't think, until after I was actually done with that. And let's see, I did Porsche Club racing in my race car, which you guys have seen the pictures of the race car as well. And it introduced me to a whole bunch of wonderful people. And then, of course, in 2001, the 928 Owners Club started, and I was president of the 928 Owners Club for 3 or 4 years, and I was the membership chairman for 5 or 6 years or something like that, I think. Which, by the way, other than newsletter editor, membership chairman is probably the second hardest position in any club. So if you ever are looking for a challenge, volunteer to be a membership chairman for a big club or an editor for a club newsletter. Those jobs will eat you alive if you let them. Anyway, let me flip the camera around and we'll look at the car a little bit, and I'll tell you a few interesting things about it. So this is an 88 S4, and it had about 50,000 miles on it when I got it. It has 99,000 miles on it now. 10,000 of those miles are on the racetrack. And let me show you what Cabinus Field did to this car. They had just resurfaced the runways and the taxiways, and I don't know if you can see it, but can you see the rash, the road rash under this rear bumper cover right behind the rear tire? I don't know if that's showing up. I can't get down low enough to see what I'm showing you a picture of yet. But if you can see that, that was all from that track event. 1 day, no, 2 days. And man, it just tore every car up that was out there, really. I'm lucky that's all there was. There's a little bit, but far less behind the front wheels. And it was an interesting event, that's for sure. Different kinds of cars. It was a time trial event. I'd never done one of those before, but I'd done a lot of track events by that point, so it was no big deal. In a time trial, the way they did it on this track, they'd send out 4 cars at a time, and they would space you out as far as they could space you out. And I went out in a run group with a first generation Viper that was supposedly a TNT tuned Viper. And he was actually in a different class than me, and a higher class. And the driver was all decked out in this really bright yellow driving suit and these bright blue driving shoes. And he had it all going on. And I was in jeans and a t-shirt. And we went out on track, and I chased that guy down. It was funny, and it felt good to, chase down a Viper. But later on, you realize that it really comes down to the driver. I've been caught and passed by Miatas and 914s that were really well driven, and thought the whole time I was being passed by them, what in the hell's going on? And what the hell was going on was they were just a much better driver than I was. Let's get inside and then do a cold start on this thing. So if you bought a Porsche in the 1980s, it would have come with this, a little key pouch. I have a key pouch from my 82. I kept one of the 3 key pouches that it came with, kind of as a souvenir of owning a car with so few miles on it. Remember that 82 car had 3,535 miles on it when I got it. This car had, like I said earlier, around 50, 60,000 miles on it when I got it. I guess it was 60. Anyway, I got it from the original owners and the original family, and it came with its original key pouch. Only one of them. I don't know if it didn't come with more than one or if one of them got lost. And, of course, the original key. Lighted, the light doesn't work anymore. May just need a battery, but they never worked very long, even if they did work. It's a great car. I have loved this car so much. You can see here's the gauges. I think you've seen it all before. Anyway, you can see that it's showing 60,000 miles on the odometer, but the odometer was replaced with 39,000 miles on it. I put a different stereo in it. The original one had stopped working and was not repairable, so I got this one. The switches are starting to go out. The passenger side window switch isn't working at all now, and the driver's side is a bit intermittent, so that's kind of a pain. And the new switches that you can buy are not any better, frankly, than the old ones. I had the shift lever redone, recovered in leather, and I did add a boot, a little leather boot, just to make it a little prettier. I also had the steering wheel recovered, and it looks really, really nice. And the extended top version, the extended height version of the center armrest that was made by Paul Champagne. So that's really handy. It works a lot better as an armrest when it's higher like this, plus more storage. Now let's do a cold start. All right. Key in the ignition over here. Battery was a little low. When you hit the brake, the stop lamp light will go out. Now, I believe that this light should be on right now too, but it is burned out. Same over here. This is the button to cancel any warnings, and it's got a light behind it as well, and that one is burned out too. So there are a few things that I need to take care of in this old girl. We'll get them done. Let's watch that brake lamp go out. Yeah, there you go. After you press the brake, that goes out. It is a beautiful early December day in Central Texas. The weather's finally really, really nice. We've had some cold weather and some wet weather, and I think we have some more wet weather coming, but it's really nice today. So let's go take a little drive. See if the brakes will squeal for me. They usually do. Oh yeah. Singing the song of their people. Neighborhood, and then I will turn the video back on. All right, we're leaving the neighborhood, kind of going out the back way. have the lightweight Carrera lightweight wheels on this car. They're from an 02 to 04 996 911. They're not a great fitment for this car, but I love the way they look. They're also not a very strong wheel, so they're not, again, not the best wheel for this car. But boy, they sure are pretty. I think I have a front wheel, or maybe both front wheels, that are out of balance because I'm starting to get a weird vibration above about 70 miles an hour. That's a little problematic in Central Texas because we have highways here in town that are 70, 75, 80, and even 85 miles an hour to our south. The toll road 130 south of us is 85 miles an hour posted speed limit. Try and channel my best Doug DeMuro here, driving the 928. That's what he always says at the beginning of any of his drives. Of course, the video is always on him. I don't know if that's good or bad. It seems to be working for him. He's got, what, 4 million subscribers and makes, you know, millions of dollars a year off of YouTube. But anyway, we're going to do about the same drive as I did in the 84 earlier this year. So hopefully you guys will enjoy it, and I'll pop in and say some things occasionally, but I'm just going to let y'all listen to the car. on the transmission during upshifts. It's not the original transmission to this car. It's actually an 89 transmission, and those are geared a little bit lower than the 87, 88 S4 transmissions, so the car actually accelerates a little more quickly than it did with its original transmission. The original bit the dust, probably from too many track day events and not enough changes of transmission fluid. I was told that it was going to be fine by a mechanic that I had, and clearly he was wrong. So anyway, live and learn, I guess. So if you have an automatic transmission 928 and you're planning on doing track days with the car, maybe change your transmission fluid every 5 or 6 events, I would suggest. Otherwise, you might be buying a new transmission or having your old one rebuilt. And getting a transmission rebuilt now, it's 2023, the very end of 2023, and I've checked into it a few times because I may be having to have my 92 GTS transmission rebuilt. It's over $8,000 to have the transmission removed, rebuilt, and reinstalled. That is a big check. One I cannot afford right now, so I'm hopeful that the 92 transmission is okay and just got low on fluid somehow or another. Fingers crossed. I'll keep you posted on that. So how about we slow it down, go around these nice sweepers. These are what 928s are the best at. They don't really like the really slow, tight corners, but boy, you give them a nice sweeper and they just really love it. See the vibration? Slow down a little bit. A hawk on the telephone line, and lots of hawks in the area. Sport bike coming at me. Oh yeah, miss my sport bikes, my motorcycles in general. BMW Z4 just went by. about it a little bit in the past, but my very first car that I ever bought with my own money was when I was a senior in high school, and I bought a '80 Triumph Spitfire. And then I came to Southwestern University in Georgetown, and we're just outside of Georgetown. And these are roads that I drove anytime I needed a break from school and wanted to just get away and clear my mind. I came out and drove these roads. So I've been driving these roads for a really long time. Just love it out here in Central Texas. It's an entirely different experience to drive these roads in an '80 Triumph Spitfire versus in the '88 928 S4, though. That is for sure. The Spitfire was pretty good at the tight roads around the pastures. This car is not quite as willing to turn as the Spitfire was, but this car weighs 3,600 pounds. The Spitfire weighed 1,800 pounds. Half the weight of this car. And about half the size. It's so tiny. Some cyclists. Many more people live out this way now than when I first drove these roads. Not much has changed, but there have been a few subdivisions that have cropped up where people have sold their pastures and neighborhoods have shot up, and so there are probably 5 or 10 times as many people actually living out here as there were when I drove these roads for the first time. Right here on our right as we cross this creek was a bit of property that when I was in college, the fraternity that I belonged to had access to the land. The owner was also a former Pike, and he would let us come out and do bonfires and stuff right here on the right. It was always a lot of fun. Houses on our left weren't here then. None of the stuff out here now was here then either. Seen those out here before. If we turned left here, we would go to a neighborhood that's a fly-in, fly-out neighborhood. They have their own runway, and there are homes surrounding the runway. Most of the people that live there have airplanes and hangars in their backyards. This used to be called Freshman Curve. They have reprofiled all of it, and it is no longer Freshman Curve anymore. Slow down for that. Didn't need to go that slow through the corner, but there are big oak trees on the inside and the outside of the corner, so it would be a bad place to go off the road. Frankly, is there any good place to go off the road? Glad I didn't hit that. That's the little country loop that I like to do out here in the Round Rock, Georgetown area. If you guys enjoyed the video, please give me a like and a thumbs up. I guess that's the same thing. Subscribe, leave a comment. If there's something you'd like to see about the 928s or that you'd like to see me do with them or what have you, just let me know and I will try to make that in an upcoming video. They are certainly my pride and joy. I love my 928s and I love making videos for you guys.